what they're up to. They're still posting things online. And it doesn't matter if it's stateside, if it's in your home country, an international job somewhere else, a goal country where you want to be at some point. You can really start to do your homework, and now's a good time to do that. Along with doing your homework, I really suggest working hard on your network. And this takes a little bit of practice, and it also really takes some thoughtfulness. So whether you're looking at Handshake as starting to build out some of your network, or you're a senior and you're also starting to bridge over into your LinkedIn profile. If you're just reaching out to people that are in your career field, these are some really good times to start thinking about building that network. And we've heard that from multiple businesses that we've recently held conversations with and done something similar to this where we've recorded those conversations. Our business leaders are telling us now's the time to make sure you're not neglecting your network, even though you may be sitting at home by yourself and really feeling like that sense of seclusion and you're just stuck. You're really not. You need to start moving forward with that network and building that network now more than ever, because the fact of the matter is that virtual interviewing and video interviewing is probably going to continue for a while. And so being able to reach out even in a space that may seem a little less personal is going to be really, really important to a lot of businesses moving forward. I think the other thing that I would say also, as far as doing your homework, is we really recommend people going out to themuse.com. So that's and then Muse, MUSE.com. They have wonderful articles, and you can sign up for their articles to be sent directly to your inbox based on your interests. It's not just hey, we're going to flood your inbox with a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't matter to you. If you're actively job searching, then they're going to be sending articles about that. If you move to a place where you're loving your job and you just want to be better in your job, they'll send you articles about that. They are a really great resource, and we send a lot of people out there. They're going to have things like interview questions specific to your area. They're going to have, I found a great article on some questions that are getting pretty hot right now. And those are these oddball questions, or questions that really are checking to see how you procedurally think. So one of the questions that has been asked in a lot of interviews recently is, how many windows are in New York City? And they kind of pause and they just let you answer that question. And this could be for a project manager job. This could be for an IT job. There's a lot of different areas that they want to test your procedural thinking. So just placing that out there, how many windows are in New York City? They really want to know, how are you going to go about solving that problem without much data in front of you? Another interesting one that we saw come up recently, and I saw it on the Muse first, and then I actually heard from a friend that they got this in an interview, and that was, if you were given an elephant and you couldn't give it away, what would you do with it? And that sounds like such a bizarre question. But again, depending on the job that you're interviewing for, they may be looking for certain angles and answers to that question. It may have to do with procedural thinking. It may have to do with how creative you are or how resourceful you are. But it just depends on the job. The other questions that you're really going to always run into are those that are behavioral style. And those are the, tell me about a time when you experienced whatever. And it might be a good scenario, a bad scenario, might be looking to see if you've ever had a failure. They're looking to see, I don't want you failing on my job for the first time. I want to know that you can really deal with failure and work through that. And how do you work through that? The idea behind these questions are is predicting how you're going to respond in similar situations in the future. We want to know how you've reacted in those previous situations, and that's the best thing that I have to go on to see, are you going to be a good fit for the challenges that may lie ahead in this role? So those are some things that I would really prompt everybody to start looking at, is you know, set some goals, look at those businesses, do your homework, and depending on where you are in your career and career search, you know, it might be more focused on those interview questions. It might be more focused on just the industry as a whole.
Those are some tough questions. I don't know how I would answer them.
They are some tough questions, and they've been coming up in more and more chats lately. So it sounds like several businesses have adopted those questions.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So you touched on this quite a bit, but what are some of the best ways to stand out in a job market that is becoming saturated with several qualified candidates competing for the same position?
Yeah. So when I first was, you know, thinking about this question, really, you're already going to stand out, and you should know that for two reasons. One, you are a student, and own it. If you're interviewing for an entry-level position or an internship, they know that they are looking for students. So don't be afraid to talk about your student experiences. And also, the second thing is you're an international student. So own that to a certain degree, and really be willing to talk about how that has influenced you and impacted your career trajectory, and how that could benefit the business, because that's really bottom line. That's what they're looking for, is how your experiences are going to benefit them moving forward.
So branching off of that, is my status as an international student or a multicultural person a strength in the job market, or can it be seen as a weakness?
Yeah. So I really tend to look at this type of question or thought on a really individual level. At some level, anytime you're in the hiring process, humans are hiring humans. There's inherent bias anytime humans are hiring humans. So you can just assume that there will be bias. And that isn't necessarily to say that it's a strength or a weakness. I think it's how you look at your strengths, what you bring to the table, and how you sell those strengths. And that holds true for any individual. When they come in and we're coaching them through the career search process, we're looking for the things that make that individual stand out. And if that is that you speak multiple languages and have experience in multiple countries and multiple cultures, then that's something that's going to make you stand out as an individual. And there are companies who highly value that, and there are some companies who that may not be as high on their list of the values that they're looking for. But you need to know what your values are and what you're bringing to the table. And I would say most of all, I would coach anyone who's had study abroad experience, or they're currently an international student, really do a little bit of self-searching and find out why that's important to you, because you've invested a lot of time and energy, money in this process, and you know at a certain level that you are getting some wonderful benefits out of this. But I guarantee you an employer is going to ask that question, you know, what does that experience help you? How is that experience going to influence you in the future? How is that going to help you as you come into this industry as a new career professional? How is this going to impact your life moving forward? I think those are broad questions. They may not be a perfect interview question, but be thinking about those things so that you're ready with that answer. Just like how does your experience as getting a certain degree, how has that impacted you? Sometimes when you're in the moment, it's so hard to define that, but a little bit of self-reflection and soul searching there will help you get to that answer and be able to not necessarily stumble around in the interview, but really be able to say, this is where I stand on this, and this is why it's important to me. And I think that's the way we would coach a lot of the students that came into our office. It's really what sets you apart. It's also, we see some people come in and they're real people persons, and they need to be able to talk about that. So in their personal statement on their resume, that's one of the things that we want a lot of people to highlight, is the fact that these are the things that make me different from the other, let's say, computer science students or business students. These are the qualities that I'm going to bring to the table, that even if all the other nursing students have the same background and the same classes, these are the things that make me stand out and make me different. And a lot of times, those are the experiences that you've had.
Great, thank you. So my last question is, how can I best utilize your office and the services that you provide?
Sure. I think just getting in touch with us and communicating with us. If you have a question about, the career search process, we're going to be able to get you in touch with the right people. We're going to be able to walk you through that process as well. So just let us know what type of assistance you're looking for, and we'll go from there.
Great. Well, students, I sincerely encourage you to reach out to Erin, to her team, and to the Student Employment and Career Center. This is going to be your go-to place for a lot of your questions related to employment and your career search, and looking ahead after your time at LC, and also making the most of your time at LC in terms of building your professional and educational resume. So thank you so much, Erin. We're so appreciative of your time and expertise.
You're welcome. And I guess, Holly, I would just say one more thing, and that is that we do hold sessions throughout, the semesters. We invite a lot of business people on campus or virtually to come and chat with our students. So be looking for those on Handshake as well. They're under the events section, and anybody can register for those at any point in time. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to meet those businesses that are looking to hire our students.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be sure to send students and employers in your direction.
Good deal. Thanks so much, Holly, for your time today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.